Larry Wilmore is the host of the nightly show with Larry Wilmore on Comedy Central every night at 11:30. How much fun do you have?
So much fun. I mean, every night. It's not only fun on the air, it's fun before we get on the air, because we have such a great writing staff and producing staff, and we just make each other just laugh all day long. So that's pretty much what it's like.
You know, I'm just sitting there looking at that clip, and the people who come on, I think to myself, you must have a great team. You have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I just saw, if I'm not mistaken, Rand Paul.
Yeah.
He's not fun. He's not fun.
Rand Paul thinks he's funny.
No, that's scary.
It's very scary, and scary makes it fun for us.
Oh, come on. So he's not laughing. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. So you're not laughing with him, but rather at him?
I don't know if anyone could claim they're laughing with Rand Paul. That's just not something exclusive to me, you know. I actually did this thing for the congressional, it was like the White House Correspondent Center. It was the Congressional Correspondent Center, and Rand Paul spoke first. He did not get one laugh. It was hilarious.
Was he trying?
He was trying, and it was so sad. It was really, really sad.
You know what's bad like that, too?
And he spoke for like 10 minutes.
Just if you're going to, well, never mind. In PBS, we try not to do commentary on this side.
I understand.
But I did do this. I watched, and we'll air this at the end of 2015 and then many times after, because it'll be a good show.
Okay.
Unless it's not, and we won't. But
okay.
I noticed when Donald Trump was at the Correspondents' dinner and they were killing him. I forget who it was.
Seth Meyers.
It was, thank you. I knew you'd know that. And I think Seth Meyers was great, but what was funnier was Donald Trump not laughing.
Yeah, it was hilarious. And in fact, I think Obama zinged him a couple of times too, which is pretty funny.
Obama is
Obama's
funny.
Hilarious.
Why? Does he just get it?
He figured it out. He didn't start off funny. I remember when they had pictures of him bowling in his mom jeans, and like he didn't even know how to respond to that and everything. Oh, I'm sorry. And he takes too long to finish his sentences, but he got it. I think he was doing a dinner with John McCain once, and John McCain was killing it. I mean, crushing it. John McCain is hilarious. He knows how to deliver a joke. And I think Obama learned a lot from that dinner, because after that, he was just really funny.
And it's so interesting. Politicians who, no disrespect, Hillary Clinton, not funny, and people who write, politicians who deliver material written by others, there are people who deliver better than others, but that's not funny.
No, not necessarily. Like, George Bush was funny, but not on purpose. You know, he was just funny. Whereas, yeah, you're right, Hillary is never funny on purpose or not on purpose. Rand Paul, sometimes funny, but never on purpose.
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson, always funny, never on purpose. All right. But always funny. Ben Carson is never not funny.
Okay, here's my question.
He must have been hilarious while he was twin separating, by the way. Yeah. I'm just saying, it must... See, my philosophy here, I'll give my philosophy on Ben Carson. Ben Carson, first of all, he puts me to sleep whenever he's talking, you know. But I think it was probably a tool. If let's say your anesthesiologist shows up late.
Go ahead.
You're about to separate twins. You can put them to sleep just by talking.
Just by talking.
It's a skill that came in handy.
Well, here's the thing. As we do this program, though, Larry, you know, again, it'll air later. A lot of folks like them. Most of them are white. You say?
I don't understand it. I don't know
You're a smart guy. Tell me, because help me understand.
I don't know if people understand that means that America may go black to black. I don't know if they figured that through. I don't know if they thought it through the long game.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't think they have, you know. I think they like Ben Carson. He sounds like a black Droopy the dog to me. You know, just, would you believe I want to be president? You know, he just kind of has that kind of approach. And who doesn't like Droopy the dog? So I get it. I get that part.
Would he come on your show?
I don't know. I would love to have him on. I would love to speak to Ben Carson. That'd be great.
What would you do with him?
First, I would examine his gifted hands, because apparently...
They are gifted.
They are gifted. I want to see the hands that separated the twins, and we'd go from there.
What would you do with Trump?
I'd probably want to have a soul food sit-down with Trump. We have these things called soul food sit-downs. That's what I did with Rand Paul.
Yeah.
And Bernie Sanders, who, you know, Bernie Sanders' and Soul Food Restaurant was very funny.
And I also will say that one of the funnier things, and I don't care when we're doing the show, it'll be funny for a long time, was Larry David doing.
Yeah.
That's just funny.
He crushed it, yeah. Very
he
funny.
just did. The other person I'm thinking about is Hillary Clinton. Connecting, not connecting, does she have what it takes to do that?
Well, I think there's people who like Hillary already. And then there's people who don't like Hillary already. Those people aren't changing, I don't think. It's the people in the middle, how do you get them? And then it becomes, I think, just a game of alternatives, to be honest with you. I think Hillary's going to win people not based on her personality, but on who they don't want to vote for.
Really?
I think so, absolutely.
So you think a fair number of people will vote for her because I don't want that person?
Correct. Ben Carson, Hillary Clinton.
I'm from New Jersey. Our governor, as we do this program, Chris Christie, has done a lot of late night television.
Yeah.
And done very well. Because?
Yeah. I think he's polling at 0.4%.
I didn't talk about the polls.
Okay.
I said he's
Well,
done a lot.
wow.
I said he's done great in late night television, I said.
Yes.
With Jimmy Fallon. He does well. He did well with Letterman when he did it.
Yeah.
He's good at that.
Yeah.
Because? See, you're looking at, why are you going to keep looking at me like that?
I don't know what your question is.
My question is, why does he do well on late night television?
I don't know. Christie's kind of personable. He speaks very directly. You know, he doesn't try to sling jokes. You know, Christie is pretty much himself all the time. I think that's a good thing to be if you're competent. You know, which Christie is. You know, he's a very competent guy. When Trump's himself all the time, you get in a world of troubles.
So predict. This program airs in, say, March or April of 2016. Will Trump be where he is today? Thanksgiving 2015.
I would not be surprised if he was.
Because?
It's gone on a long time already. For him to be the front runner for, 4 or 5 months now? I mean, the Herman Cain 999 hurricane lasted like 2 or 3 weeks.
Why is this different?
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. The Republican establishment, or the Republican base, let's say, really hates the Republican establishment. I don't think I've seen anything like that, where a base of a party hates their party. And so I think they're doing all they can to bring in someone who they feel will fulfill the promises that they wish their establishment would do, but who they have no confidence in anymore. And so they end up cannibalizing a lot of their good candidates over like single issues because they feel disappointed.
So here's something else I'm curious about. Your career is fascinating.
Oh, thank you.
Up to this point.
Yeah, now it's over.
No, getting up to this point has been just amazing.
Oh, thank you.
With Jon Stewart, your exact title was what?
I was the senior black correspondent on The Daily Show.
Who came up with that title?
That was DJ Jabberbaum. He was the head writer. We were trying to figure out what is the right angle on all this, and we came up with black correspondent, and it didn't sound right. And DJ said, senior black correspondent, and we just all laughed, and pretty much went from there.
Did you do your own stuff, meaning create it beginning to end?
No, I worked in collaboration with the writers on the show. So we'd usually get an idea a couple of days before, and I lived in Los Angeles at the time, and I'd call in and we'd talk about it, and then I'd get there, we'd do a couple of drafts, and by the time, right before we'd go on the air, John and I would pretty much go through it line by line. So it's a very collaborative effort.
Jon Stewart, collaboratively describe him.
Jon Stewart is a frustratingly smart man who you really hate the fact that he ends up being right like 90% of the time, and it's very frustrating. Because you'll argue with him and say, I just don't think that's right, I'm sorry. And then the next day you go, oh, shoot. He's right again. How does he do that? You know? He's just an incredibly bright guy.
But your experience even before that, leading up to that,
Yeah.
you wrote for In Living Color?
That's right.
Iconic show. Was it supposed to go on longer? Or did it go on as long as it...
The show in Living Color?
Yeah.
I mean, it's television. You never know.
But it was incredible.
Yeah, it was a fun show. It was really good.
Why weren't you on air on that show?
At that point, I had been a performer up to that point, but I wanted to be a writer and producer, so I was really dedicating myself to that at the time. So I wasn't thinking about performing during that time.
But did you always know you had on-air ability?
Well, I wanted to. I had done stand-up leading up to that, and I was a theater major and, performed and all that stuff. So I had done that. For me, it was all about the angle. Like, who are you when you're on television? And if someone else is determining that for you, you're at the mercy of that. So at the time, Hollywood, if you were black, you had to be from the ghetto or urban, as they said, And if you spoke about politics or did ironic or sarcastic humor, you didn't quite fit into that mold. So
what are they going to do with you?
Exactly. They really don't know what to do with you. And so I figured, well, I should try to control the narrative myself, learn to write and produce rather than wait for somebody to find me, just do it myself. And so that's what I spent my career learning to do.
And the Bernie Mac, sorry for interrupting.
Sure, no.
And the Bernie Mac piece is powerful. Describe that.
You. Well, the Bernie Mac show, yes, I was very proud of that. It was a show I created on the Fox network. And it came from watching Bernie's act, where he talked about taking in his sister's kids and his struggle with those kids. And the theme...
All real.
Yeah.
All real.
It was embellished a bit, but based on a true story. Based on a true story.
Okay.
But a little bit of embellishment, because you're doing stand-up comedy, right, that kind of thing. And so I thought, man, what a great premise for a show. And I pitched it to Bernie, and he really liked it. And the real theme of the show was children are terrorists, I don't negotiate with terrorists. And that was the basic theme of the show. And that played out in every scene. And Bernie was brilliant. His loss is such a big loss, Steve. I got to tell you. When he passed away a few years ago, everybody was really shocked about that. He was a huge talent.
Do we even appreciate what a talent he was?
I don't know, because he only did a few films that really showed it. He did, you might call some light comedies, but he really shone in some of those ensemble things.
Yeah, the ensemble stuff,
yeah,
right?
like Ocean's 11 and that kind of stuff, But I think if he had a chance to do some more meteor roles, we could have seen a whole different side of Bernie.
The book that you wrote, 08?
Yes,
Okay.
08, came out in 09.
Oh, no, okay. I'd rather we got casinos and other black thoughts.
Very nice.
I mean, come on.
Great.
I mean,
That's a nice title.
That's a great title.
Makes me want to buy it and read it right now.
And you said, you told me before we got on the air that title came from a bit.
Came from a bit I did on The Daily Show where John couldn't understand why I wasn't so excited about Black History Month. I'm like, John, 28 days of trivia to make up for 400 years of slavery. I'd rather we got casinos, thank you very much. And I thought, man, that sounds like a good title for a book. And so I came up with this idea to have these like someone had collected my black thoughts over the years or something crazy like that.
Such as?
Well, like I did one like fake essay, In Search of Black Jesus, And I was making the case that not necessarily that Jesus was dark-skinned, but that Jesus was black, And like there are all these reasons why, and making that case for it, silly things like that. There are, I had one thing where I had a series of letters to the NAACP where I was trying to get them to change African American to chocolate.
Get out of here.
Well, yeah, because I felt, who doesn't like chocolate? That would solve so many problems, It would just, you talk about creating a bridge for people.
Bring people together.
Yeah.
That's what you do, right?
And each letter was more frustrating because they weren't, returning my...
They didn't get it.
They didn't return my queries or anything. I still think it's a good idea, by the way.
You love what you do.
Oh, yeah.
Top
absolutely.
of your game?
Well, yeah, it's hard to look at yourself and say that, but...
But are you at the top of your game?
I feel like things are firing in all cylinders, which is good, And for what I'm doing right now, definitely. Part of that is if you arrive and the moment is correct at the same time, too, and you have the right tools for what it is you're doing. So I feel like I have all the right tools to be doing what I'm doing right now, so in that sense.
Well, you're making a lot of people laugh and a lot of people think. It's a scary combination.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
As you say sarcastically, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Larry Wilmore, host of the nightly show with Larry Wilmore on the Comedy Central every night at 11:30. I want to thank you for joining us here on Public Broadcasting.
Pleasure.
We appreciate it. Stay right there. Stay with us. We're right back from the Tisch WNET studios here in the heart of Lincoln Center. Thank you very much.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by United Airlines, Investors Bank, Holy Name Medical Center, Health Republic Insurance of New Jersey, Fedway Associates, Partners for Health Foundation, and by ADP. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.